We're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers, don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be our final day. We're dreamers, don't care what the others say. We're doing this in Norway. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving.
Hi everybody, just getting started with a little setup stuff I've got to do. Make sure that's working.
What's your weakness? What's your type?
Yeah, the YouTube thing isn't working quite right, so I'm gonna figure out what's going on there.
Lights a spark. You already know me when you dance in the
Load it up on a different browser just to see. Getting started right around 9 o'clock. I just want to make sure this thing that I'm working on is actually working. So, get people in bed. Something weird going on. The YouTube stream isn't. So, trying to make it work. It should be working. It doesn't appear to be. So I'm gonna try this approach here. Just a second. It's streaming to YouTube, but it's not embedding. So I'm just trying to grab the well, let's just see if we can make this work now. There we go. Now it's working. All right. And right on time. It's 9 o'clock and I am good to go, I think. So let me get here. Very good, very good. Where's my camera angles and things? My scenes. Where are my scenes? My scenes window. Where'd you go? There. No, there you are. Okay. Rita's back. Okay, and things are working the way I want them to be working, and that is wonderful, wonderful news. So let me get this that working right. We're going to be talking today. I'm gonna have a quick announcement, I guess is the right term. It is a big announcement. I am excited. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little pumped up. I've been getting everything organized and figured out. I presume you can hear me, you can see me. Rita, thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to just dive right in and tell you what I've got to tell you. Now, if you've been following along with me this past week or two, you know I've been saying if you're going to be a professional, you need to think legit and plan legit and act, that is, behave legit like a professional. And that means having those structures in place. Your business legal structure, legit business structure, which I covered I've covered all of this a couple within the last week. Your legit team structure and your legit intellectual property strategy, and of course, client and customer strategy. And if you haven't seen all those trainings, they are all available on the access page over there at legitpodcastpro.com. Actually, no, it's at gpf.link/live. And we're going to be archiving those at the end of the week. So make sure you get in there and catch those replays if you haven't seen them already. Because, what I want to give you as a takeaway with a big message is whether you're in it as a hobby or a side hustle or as your main gig, the thing is getting your business and legal affairs in order is the best way to feel confident and secure so you can grow and monetize and supercharge your podcasting operation and go forward for big success and impact and influence. Whether you want to make money or not, impact, influence, however you define success, getting those legal and business affairs in order is the way to do it. Now, I've been helping creators to get their legal affairs in order for my whole career. When I started podcasting back in 2009, I quickly realized there's legal stuff that needs doing, but podcasters a lot of them don't have the resources or the know-how to get it done. So I set out to carve myself a bit of a niche in this area. And I started representing podcasters and networks and others in the space. And I wrote the definitive guide on podcast law. I started my crusade to have every podcast guest sign a release to protect the podcasters. And most of you probably got the hold of that free release that I make available. That's probably how you wound up in my orbit, I guess you could say. I started representing those podcasters, and then I realized that there's still a group of podcasters I haven't reached with my message. And that's all those do-it-yourself folks who choose not to or just don't want to hire or can't afford to hire a lawyer to get their legal affairs in order. But they still want to get them in order, but they just don't know how. And, the fact of it is, until you get these business and legal affairs handled and in order, you're at risk. You're at risk of getting taken advantage of and losing control of your podcast and your business, and of losing money and missing out on opportunities, spending too much, getting sued maybe, staying right where you are, hoping for that magic pill, playing the small game instead of playing to win. Playing the small game, playing not to lose is not the same thing as playing to win. So as I said, I've been practicing entertainment law, media law for almost 30 years now. And I'm a real believer in information and education being an important source. And as I was thinking about all these podcasters, the folks who need the information, who want the information, but just can't, hire me or someone like me to do the work for them, they needed something. I thought to myself, what if getting your podcasting business set up right so it's legit was fast and easy and affordable? What if getting the legal work done for the podcast business was something that you could do easily for yourself and still feel confident that it's been done correctly? And what if there were a set of frameworks and instructions and templates and tools that would make your podcast's legal setup simple? So I've been working on something, and I'm going to tell you about that right now, if that's okay with you. I wanted to find a way to help those folks who just didn't want to or couldn't afford to hire a lawyer. So I began running this online live workshop called Podcasters Legal and Business Bootcamp. And every few months I would offer this up, and I'd get a dozen or so people who'd sign up, set aside a chunk of a Saturday to sit on a Zoom call, mainly a whole day really, sit on a Zoom call or webinar and learn about this legal stuff. And I didn't really have everything completely fleshed out yet. I hadn't organized it all into the frameworks and those kinds of things that I've been talking about. But what I was doing was teaching the stuff that I've been sharing with you over the last few sessions, but in greater depth and with a lot of show you how to do it demonstration in the mix. And it's been fun, but I realized that day-long workshop format just isn't great for everybody. And as the presenter, wow, I'll tell you, it is tough. So I gave it more thought, and I came to the conclusion that this material lends itself well to an online video instruction kind of an approach. So now I am introducing Easy Legal for Podcasters. It's a unique online do-it-yourself legal training program that's designed specifically for podcasters. With this program, you will select and form the appropriate entity for your professional podcast business, if an entity is appropriate. You'll register your title as a trademark, develop a system to register your copyrights, to protect your intellectual property, so you can structure your relationships. You'll structure those relationships with co-owners, co-hosts, co-producers, and other collaborators. And you'll onboard team members with all the appropriate contracts and protections that will give you the traction and the fuel for your business, your enterprise, to really take off and move faster and better and accomplish more with greater ease. You'll make advertising and affiliate and endorsement deals that make sense, that you make more money with your podcasting, and just basically to play that bigger, bolder game. And that's what really, really drives success. Module 1, as you might expect, is that legit business structure, how to select the proper form of entity, what you should use as a business entity, when to form it, where to form it. There's a how-to walkthrough for how to form your corporation or your LLC so you can do it yourself. You don't need to rely on hiring a lawyer. You don't need to rely on vending machine law. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Module 2 is your legit team structure. We talk about working with employees and independent contractors and how to know the difference and when to use the different approaches. Working with co-hosts and other collaborators. And we'll talk about the very key provisions in employment contractor and co-creator contracts that we use to make sure you own what you think you own, and that your intellectual property and other assets are as well protected as possible. And there are templates, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and guess at what the right language to use in contracts is and that kind of thing. We'll talk about your intellectual property strategy in Module 3, where we'll talk about how to obtain and protect all of your various forms of intellectual property, how to register your title as a trademark so you can stop others from using confusingly similar titles, how to license content from others to use in your podcast, how to avoid claims of plagiarism and infringement, what to do if you get them, understanding the fair use defense, and video walkthroughs to help you get it all done. And in Module 4, we get down to where the rubber meets the road, the legit client and customer strategy, how to structure your agreements with clients and customers and document business relationships effectively, how to keep necessary business records, and for how long, and strategies and tips for negotiating all these deals. And we have more modules coming soon. Module 5, we're going to be talking about network structures and deals. And I have some other things planned in the wings as well. Plus you get, in addition to all that instruction, all that how to do content, you also receive my attorney drafted template agreements, bylaws, minutes, checklists, host agreements, the prenup agreement that I talk about, and all the other tools that you will use to make getting your business and legal affairs in order really, really fast and easy. So you'll be taking all that you've learned, and basically with me walking you through the step-by-step processes, you'll get your legal affairs in order, your business affairs in order, so you can truly get legit and go pro. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be expensive or time-consuming. Now, you might be thinking, hey, it's too expensive. True, hiring lawyers to get your legal affairs handled is an expensive proposition. But this is different. Easy Legal for Podcasters allows you to do the legal yourself with our expert guidance, if I do say so myself, guidance, instruction, and resources. Maybe you're thinking you can't afford it, but I ask, can you really afford not to? Isn't it more expensive not to get your legal affairs in order? Aren't you leaving money on the table if you force yourself into that box of playing small? How much more money could you be making if you just invested in positioning yourself as a professional? Project that professionalism out to the world. You will more effectively monetize what you're doing, I promise. Risks. What risks? That's what you're thinking? There aren't really any significant risks? Well, I'll tell you, one lawsuit is all it takes to bankrupt most individuals and many, many businesses. Podcasting is media production, and media has the potential to cause harm. Say the wrong thing, use the wrong bit of material, hurt someone's reputation. That's all it takes. Not to mention the risk that someone on your team will decide that they are a co-owner, or worse, they're the sole owner, and try to push you out. You may not see them, but there are these risks, and getting your legal and business affairs in order helps to reduce those risks, and it just makes sense. Maybe you're thinking, I just don't need to do this. I'm too small to be at risk. Well, I say, are you really too small? And if you are, do you want to stay that way, or do you want to grow and increase your impact, your influence, your income? Until you get those protections in place, you're going to stay risk averse rather than risk tolerant. And when you're risk averse, you can take risks that will propel things forward. And here's the thing, the vast majority of legal problems happen in small businesses, and mostly they originate from inside the business. Employees, contractors, vendors, and customers, they're the source of most complaints. But media content has the potential to reach further and cause harm, even when created by a small operator. And let's face it, if you are doing media, the audience doesn't know how big or small you are. They're going to think bigger rather than smaller because, hey, you've got microphones and computers and technology and streams and all that stuff set up. You must be a real legit operation, right? So be legit in your business and legal side of it as well, because when they come looking, they don't care. And they're going to be looking for you. So even if you like being small, are you really too small for trouble to find you? See, professionals take risks that propel their businesses because they know they've got their legal protections in place. They play the bigger game because they can. They've set themselves up to do it. They've set themselves up for success. Now consider this. You don't need a lawyer. Never. You probably don't need a lawyer. Let's put it that way. My fellow attorneys don't like me saying this, but unless your business is fairly complex, you can do much of the legal work yourself, especially when you have a resource like Easy Legal for Podcasters to show you the way. Think about this. Do you know anyone who has really DIY'd their legal affairs successfully? Of course you do. Lots of people do it. You can too, if you have the tools and the information that you need to make it easy and manageable. And the fact is, look, if you can figure out podcasting with RSS feeds and audio recordings and show notes and getting lined up in all the various registries and streaming services and so on, this will be easy by comparison. The business and legal stuff is really only scary if you don't know what to do. And with this program, if you can follow step-by-step instructions and fill out forms, you can totally do this. And think about this. You are only small because you're choosing to be small. You're not playing the big game. How are you ever going to grow bigger until you start playing that bigger game? That means acting like a pro, getting the business affairs handled, getting the legal stuff out of the way. And the nice thing is, once you do this stuff, you don't have to think about it much ever again. Once a year, you sign a couple of papers and off you go. You're done, right? If you're doing everything right, it goes very smoothly. So can you really afford not to get your legal and business affairs in order? If not now, when will you start taking your business and yourself seriously, like a professional? How long have you already waited? Sure, this takes a bit of time, but not as much as you might think. Getting your legal and business affairs squared away is doable, and there's no excuse for waiting. The longer you wait, the farther off that success will be and will stay. So isn't it worth investing a bit of time now so you can play big and step on the gas in your business? Even if you're not in business, this stuff is smart. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you that risk tolerance I was talking about, so you can do the things that are necessary to grow your audience, to get bigger, get noticed. How sad is it that so many people are out there doing what they do in a way that avoids getting noticed because they don't want to be exposed to those risks I was talking about? But if you do these things right, those risks are reduced dramatically, and being noticed becomes a good thing. So here's what some of our folks have said. Johnny Pennington, who's been through the program, says, it gives me peace of mind to know that what I hope to build won't easily collapse from some legal newbie mistake that I probably would have made if I had not sought out competent legal advice in this field. He's a Easy Legal for Podcast user. Jeffrey Kozlowski says, your boot camp, he was one of the boot camp members. Boot camp was amazing. I truly enjoyed every second. He says, Gordon, you're a wealth of knowledge, and it was my pleasure joining in the discussion and teachings. I look forward to many more discussions with you. That's great. So when you enroll in Easy Legal Podcast, Easy Legal for Podcasters today, what you get is the 4-part Easy Legal for Podcasters comprehensive framework. That alone has a value of $1,000. You'll get step-by-step instructions and how-to videos that'll help you form your corporation or your LLC without hiring a lawyer. Right there, you're saving $2,500 maybe more. Instructions and step-by-step training on how to register your title as a trademark without hiring a lawyer, saving you another $1,000 or $2,000. All the checklists, worksheets, templates, and legal forms needed to maintain your business's legal operations effectively, there's another $1,000 easy right there. Learn how to make smart, secure contracts with your collaborators, your co-owners, your employees, your freelancers, your vendors, clients, and more. Altogether, this is a value of, conservatively, I'm saying $6,500, $6,500 or more. But it's not going to cost you anything near that. No, I'm offering Easy Legal for Podcasters. This is the last time we're offering it at this price, folks, but here it is. It's available to you now for the small investment of just $497. All of that value, $6,500 or more, for $497. And it's available to you now. I'm confident that this is a terrific program and that it brings huge value. So I'm going to take away all the risk and give you a 30-day, no-risk satisfaction guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied with Easy Legal for Podcasters in the first 30 days, you just let me know and I'll refund your full investment. No, I'm going to ask some questions. I want to know what I can do to improve things, but it's a no-risk guarantee. But wait, there's more. I've always wanted to say that. Easy Legal conference calls. You get the opportunity to join me, the podcast lawyer, live for Q&A and legal updates and strategy discussions every single month. We're doing these calls, and they're small group calls. It's awesome. We have a great time. We talk for an hour or more. We move them around in time so everybody has a chance to participate. I learn something from these every time, and I know you will as well. We're also having guest expert masterclasses, exclusive members-only access to our online masterclass sessions with podcast business experts. We're going to learn marketing strategies, audience development, and much, much more. We'll even get some tech stuff into the mix, I think. The podcast blog and new media producers legal survival guide, that ebook that I wrote when I first got started in here, that ebook is the definitive guide to the legal aspects of podcast content, journalism, and regulatory restrictions. I'm actually working on a second edition of that book in the next few months. Hopefully have it out around the first of the year. And you'll get a copy of the new edition as well. It's an ebook. It's easy for me to distribute that way. And you, my customers in this program, they deserve it all. So when you enroll today, you get it all. You get the 4-part Easy Legal Framework lessons, business structure, team structure, intellectual property strategy, and client and customer strategy. You get the how-to walkthrough videos. You get the checklists, the templates, the samples, and all of that. You get the Easy Legal conference calls, the expert masterclasses, and the podcast blog and new media producers legal survival guide, all for just $497. The most important thing that you must do if you are going to be a podcasting professional and have an impact and make money in this field is to get those business and legal affairs in order. Now, as I see it, you have a few choices right now. You could just do nothing, keep your amateur status, continue playing the small game, treating podcasting as that hobby, just dabbling and getting little to no results or rewards. Or you could get this stuff done by hiring a lawyer, fork over a retainer, maybe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get your legal affairs in order. Or you could enroll in Easy Legal for Podcasters today. Visit easylegalforpodcasters.com and get started doing it yourself, using the forms and instructions and how to walk through examples that we provide. And yeah, I know about those online service providers out there, those legal websites that have, words indicating speed and those kinds of things in their titles. You know the kind, the words that have Zoom and Rocket or Fast in their names. And that sounds attractive, right? Fast, cheap, generic legal work. Hey, great. But do you really want your legal affairs handled fast and cheap? Is that how you plan on doing everything in your business? I liken this approach to getting a haircut from a vending machine. Imagine you're walking down the street. There's this machine, a box. It's about shoulder height. It has a hole in the bottom with a sign that says haircuts $1. Insert head here. Well, are you going to do that? Now, if your head is the exact average shape and size as everybody else, as most people, you might come out with a great haircut. Or you might wind up losing an ear. And if your situation isn't exactly down the middle like every other, well, all bets are off. Now, full transparency here. I am a lawyer, so I am obviously not fond of these legal services vending machine operations. I've seen too many botched jobs coming out of these places. And you will certainly pay me more to fix things, the mistakes that come from those things, than if you'd hired me to do it right in the first place. The bottom line, don't rely on a machine and an algorithm to get this stuff right for you. Every business, every podcast, every enterprise, every owner is a little different. And the plain vanilla stuff may or may not work for you. Trouble is, you'll only know if it's done right or wrong when something becomes an issue. When you have to test the structures and setups, either in court or in tax or regulatory situations, or just with your listeners and customers. Do you want to wait until it's time to test to know that everything's right? So, as I see it, the only real choice is Easy Legal for Podcasters. Now, one last time, here is everything that you get. You get the 4-part Easy Legal Framework lessons, your business structure, your team structure, your intellectual property strategy, and your client and customer strategy, plus the how-to walkthrough videos, the checklists, the templates, the samples, and more. You get the Easy Legal conference calls. Every month we meet up and we have those calls. They're great sessions. You get the guest expert master classes and the podcast blog and New Media Producers Legal Survival Guide, all for just $497. That's less than 5% of what you'd likely pay a lawyer to set up your company structure, trademarks, working contracts, and advertising deals. Heck, that's less than you'd pay a lawyer for me for just 1 hour of my time laying this stuff out for you, setting up just talking about strategy and getting it started. So what are you waiting for? EasyLegalForPodcasters.com. And remember, we're closing this offer in just a few days, Thursday night at midnight. This offer goes away. And we're going up to our full price next time we offer it. Now, I've got time for some questions if anybody's here. So let me make a switcheroonie here. Come back to, let me see, here we go. That's the shot I wanted. And if anybody has questions, now's the time. Pop them in the chat, pop them in somewhere, and let me know. And I'm also going to quickly hop over and make sure that everything is working as I hope, as I like. Okay. Any questions about what we're doing or any of the material that we've covered this last little while, this last few days? Okay, I'm going over to Facebook here real quick. Just seeing what's happening. I've had a really good time going live like this to do these sessions over the last 10 days or so. And actually, it's the last 12 days because I did the first one on September 30th. It's hard to believe how fast the month is zinging by, too. But yeah. So, Mr. Terungwa, I'm not going to try to pronounce your first name, but thank you for the applause, the claps. You know, that's a question that comes up for me, actually. I don't know where you're located, sir, but one of the questions that often comes up for me is, will this work for me? I'm from another country. And, I'll tell you, I'm a U.S.-based lawyer. And what I'm doing is mostly U.S.-based law stuff. But the good news is that I would say 80, 90% of what I'm teaching in this program follows the common law, which is the most fundamental source of law for most of the countries around the world. Copyright law is under an international treaty, so it's virtually the same from place to place. A few variations here and there. Trademarks can be protected much the same in every country because we have the World Intellectual Property Organization Treaty, the WIPO Treaty, and contract law is, fundamentally the same pretty much everywhere. So the big difference, the big issue may be in that first module about your legal entity structure. And even there, I think what we teach is instructive, even if it's not exactly on point for what you want to do in your home country. So the how to form a company, a corporation, or an LLC, that's going to be very specific to US stuff, but the rest of it will work for you everywhere you are. And again, I said, if you can figure out how to do a podcast, you can figure this stuff out. And with the guidance that we offer here, I think that even if you're in one of those other countries, the information will be useful and helpful to you for that. So I hope that's helpful for you. Other questions that come up a lot. Let's see. Will it work for me? How will I be sure I do it right? Well, look, I'm going to show you the right way to do it. I'm teaching best practices. And those best practices work almost all the time. And then you have access to me if you want to run things by, if you want to get a checkup on things. Fantastic. So, hey, if you are watching live right now, I would love it if you would drop a note in the comments, if you can, on either on Facebook or in the YouTube channel. I will see them here. And I would love to, if nothing else, just say hello. But if you have a question or a comment about all this, love to know that too, and see if I can address it. Coming up on half past the hour, and I promised myself I was only going to do 30 minutes today, so I've got a couple more minutes. If you have a question, now's the time. Otherwise, I will be signing off in a couple of minutes. And I just want to say, Easy Legal for Podcasters. This is a fantastic, fantastic program, and I hope you'll give it some serious thought. I want you to get your legit business structures, your legit team structure, your legit intellectual property structures, and your legit client and customer strategies in place. I want you to get your business and legal affairs in order so you can stop thinking and worrying about that. It's always in the back of your mind, right? And if you can stop thinking about it and focus on growing your enterprise, growing that bigger audience, having a larger impact, being an influencer with that audience, that's what we all want, right? For some of us, the podcast is something we do just for fun, just for the pleasure of getting cat hair all over me, for getting the message out. For some of us, it is about just having a good time. But even that, I say, you want to be feeling confident and secure that you're having a good time and nothing bad's going to happen. And that's one of the things about podcasting. Dust floating around. One of the things about getting this legal and business affairs stuff done. If you've done it right, the bad stuff never comes and you never notice. So it's sort of a weird dynamic to say, well, I'm doing this so nothing bad ever happens. And you never really have there's no outward indicators that it's working. What happens is if you don't get it done, there are outward indicators that it's not. So this is one of those things where it's prevention, right? Take your vitamins, get your exercise, eat a healthy diet, and get your legal and business affairs in order. Take care of the stuff that matters so you can take care of the other stuff that matters. So, Easy Legal for Podcasters right now, available for the next few days until Thursday night at midnight, but now's the time. Get in on it now. Some special bonuses coming for those who sign up today. If you sign up before the close of business today, Monday, I've got another bonus for you. Yeah. I'll tell you a little more about that later. All right. So thank you for being here. It's now time for me to sign off. I'm really glad that we were able to do this today. And if you have any questions, let me know. Send them in the comments, in the chat, whatever it is. I'll look forward to speaking to you very soon. I'll be back live again in a couple of days with Q&A and that kind of thing. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Head on over to Easy Legal for Podcast.